Good evening. You're watching Look Up TV. My name is Louis, and this means it's time for the news.
The news headlines in association with
Tonight on Look Up News, court stops ongoing vetting of PS nominees.
Huyo mtoto amekanyagwa site ya Mtomo, meno 3 imetoka.
Mtu anakimbia na tractor venye anataka na wakisha kanyaga wanatoroka.
A cane tractor is set on fire in Kakamega after killing a pedestrian. Issa Timame is now leader of the Amani Congress Party.
Yippee! Kamata plotting at 349k. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10k cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
"51 Kenyans have been running around with a magic wand on one hand of the sides of their hands and a bag of tricks or a bag of promises on the other, holding their breath. And tonight, it appears they will still need a Panadol moment. As it appears, the High Court has barred the National Assembly from going on with the vetting of the 51 Principal Secretary nominees until a case challenging the process is heard and determined. This is after Labour Court Judge Justice Nzioki Makau verified the case by the Law Society of Kenya challenging the process. Shadra Kareria takes us through.
The process of vetting Principal Secretary's nominees received a major blow on Tuesday.
Do swear that the information I shall give before this Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the matter under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
After the court ordered the parliament to stop the process, in his ruling, Labour Court Justice Nzioki Makau ordered the 4 committees of the National Assembly to temporarily stop the process until on the 21st November, when the case challenging the vetting of Ruto's 51 nominees is determined.
8 hours, so we've done very well.
The Law Society of Kenya had earlier filed a petition in the court challenging the process on the basis that the list does not put into account the regional and tribal balance, the 2/3 gender balance, persons living with disabilities and youth, which is against the Constitution.
Who does not meet the constitutional requirements.
LSK argued that President William Ruto appointed a big number of his PSs from the Rift Valley and Mount Kenya regions, with 13 PSs coming from the Kalenjin community and 13 coming from the Mount Kenya region, which the Law Society says is discriminative.
For a very critical docket. I know you have been around. I think you must be one of the luckiest PSs, technocrat.
The process, however, continued for the second day on Tuesday, as the nominees appeared before 4 different committees for vetting.
Our investment and our engagement in DRC is not unilateral. It is pursuant to head of states agreement and resolution to the East African countries to engage in DRC. So we are not doing it unilaterally. The countries agreed, the head of states agreeing. So the commander-in-chief in our country is doing what he's doing is in pursuant to that agreement.
So the number one thing that we must really do, Mr. Chair, is to make sure that from the Ministry of Labour that we are very, very clear.
Shadra Kareria, Look Up TV.
With this dedication, we'll move this country forward.
Lamu Governor Issa Timami is the new leader of the Amani National Congress Party. Timami was unanimously elected by the party's governing council to replace Musalia Mudavadi, who has been appointed to serve in President William Ruto's cabinet as the chief cabinet secretary. Timami says his key priority will be to strengthen the party to remain competitive, especially after dismal showing in the just concluded general elections. Henry Tende with the story.
And I have appointed my brother, Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi.
Following the appointment of Musalia Mudavadi as the chief cabinet secretary in President William Ruto's cabinet, the Amani National Congress Party has moved to reorganize its house. Lamu Governor Issa Timami will now be at the helm of the party's leadership, replacing Honorable Musalia Mudavadi after ANC national delegates unanimously gave him the mandate.
Honorable Mudavadi has been on the political scene for very many years. He is a giant of politics in this country. And the various positions he has held in this country surely indicate his stature. Therefore, it will not be easy to fill his shoes. It's a challenge, but believe you me, I am up to that challenge.
In the just concluded national elections, ANC struggled to compete against other formidable parties such as ODM, UDA, Jubilee, and even Ford Kenya. Governor Timami accepting much needs to be done for the party to remain attractive and competitive.
If we want to be successful, we have to start planning, and that planning has to start now. Not tomorrow, but now. I believe the energy, the faith, the devotion which we will bring as the leadership of ANC to this endeavor will light our party and all those who serve it.
Welcome you to the Amani House. Jisikie uko nyumbani, hiki ni chama chako, and we are very sure that going forward with you under your leadership, ANC can only become bigger and better.
I want to confirm to members and affirm and say this authoritatively that Amani National Congress is there to stay. It will never fall. So all parties expect us will be competitive in the political world going forward, and in most of the by-elections and coming elections.
The party has scheduled a delegates meeting to take stock of what led to dismal performance in the past election, with a view to finding a workable formula going forward to return the party to national appeal.
We shall soon go for a retreat where we shall analyze what happened, what went wrong, why we performed poorly. At the same time, we shall come up with a 5-year strategic plan leading to the 2027 elections.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi will remain in the party as key advisor. Henry Tende, Look Up TV.
So, the High Court today stalled the president's process of forming his government, but simultaneously, President William Ruto today chaired his second cabinet meeting with his new cabinet. The meeting comes a few hours after the Employment and Labor Relations Court stopped the ongoing vetting of principal secretaries, pending the hearing and determination of a case filed.
Do that which is good for our country, and that is also in consonance with your will. Commit Kenya to your good hands, Heavenly Father. Thank you for the rains that we have seen in various parts of the country. Father, we commit each and every member of this cabinet to your good hands. Help them, Heavenly Father, to overcome whatever challenges and to do cabinet in 2022.
Number 5.
After the names of members nominated to the East African Legislative Assembly were presented to Parliament, senators today debated the names, most of them rooting for those nominated by their political parties ahead of voting scheduled for Thursday. Remember, this is not about the best person for the job, but the person preferred for the job.
Showdown looms in Parliament on Thursday this week, when the House is expected to vote on the names of the members to represent the country in the East African Legislative Assembly, with senators voting for legislators nominated by their political parties.
Honorable Speaker, a total of 69, as indicated in the report, appeared before the presiding officers, out of whom, Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition presented 15 candidates, and the Azimio la Umoja One Alliance Coalition presented 12 nominees.
Kisumu Senator Professor Tom Ojenda, while rooting for Winnie Odinga, called on the senators to vote for competent individuals, while his Makueni counterpart, Dan Manzo, while seemingly campaigning for Kennedy Musyoka, urged the members to consider experienced individuals.
I was just going to urge members to ensure that they vote for competent people to represent this region in that assembly. I have today, Mr. Speaker, sir, received a lot of interest from individuals who want to go to that assembly, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I know very, very competent ones, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we shall vote for, Mr. Speaker, sir. I urge, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this House, in considering who to vote for Winnie Odinga. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
We have to balance gender, youth, and also continuity, Mr. Speaker. One of the problems with the Kenyan election has been that we remove everybody, and then we have no institutional memory in Yela. So I'll urge members, while making a vote and supporting this, to look at that consideration so that we can have continuity in the Eastern African Legislative Assembly.
However, as senators campaigned for their preferred candidates, UDA Secretary General and nominated Senator Veronica Maina urged members to consider women and the youth while casting their votes.
I would urge members to vote guided by their own conscience, knowing that the list of the members who should be voted in to serve in that assembly should, number one, have a diversity within the Kenyan communities. It should also take into account gender considerations. It should be balanced in terms of gender. And I would actually encourage the members to consider this time around accepting women more, much more women than men, because all the other parliaments have more men than women.
Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei castigated Azimio la Umoja allied senators, accusing them of planning to vote for Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka's family members, insisting that the Kenya Kwanza coalition nominated members from all walks of life.
My question is simple. When you look at this report, which is the worst democracy and corruption, Mr. Speaker, if you can bring your own daughter to be elected to Yala or your own son? Winnie Odinga wants to be a Yala member simply because of the second name, just like Kalonzo Musyoka's son. When you look at the list of Kenya Kwanza, Mr. Speaker, it is only hustlers, people who are from bottom up, that we have nominated to go to Yala to represent this country, Mr. Speaker.
Ian Keitane, Look Up TV.
Remember, it's not most suitable, but always most preferred. We'll take a break on that note. See you in a bit with more news.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
new testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Welcome, you're watching The CEO. On this show, where we invite masters, captains of industry.
It's all about working in teams. Customers are happy, it's a good month, the markets are good. I mean, those are very exciting moments.
Ladies and gentlemen who tell us where and how to find money and put money in our pockets and how to go about doing business in the best possible way.
For me, I'm not serving myself, I'm serving community.
Born a man, the society bestows tough responsibilities upon you.
Lazima uwe mtu wa bidii, ukija kuwa lazima uwe ni provider.
If you're not able to provide, that's a challenge. It takes a toll on a man.
It takes someone who is strong enough to face it.
This is Born a Man.
Sign so far that there could be an end to this, the long-running conflict between pastoralist communities of the Karamoja of Uganda and Turkana of Kenya may be coming to a close after leaders from both countries signed an MOU to confiscate illegal weapons from those who possess them in both countries.
The conflict between pastoralist communities Karamoja of Uganda and Turkana of Kenya is anticipated to reach its limit as a result of leaders of both nations signing a memorandum of agreement to launch the campaign to confiscate illegal weapons from their owners.
All the leaders you see here, they have accepted that nobody should be armed in the sub-region of Karamoja. The leaders have given us the mandate to disarm, to engage anybody who will be found illegally armed.
These two communities, who have been tense for a long time, have promised to dedicate themselves to maintaining peace on the borders, to end armed conflict, and especially cattle rustling, which has fueled up insecurity in the area.
Watu waishi na silaha huko Turkana, watu kuja hapa na mafimbo yao na mavitu yao, alafu tukana amani. Hii kitu mbaya kinaleta za ni silaha. Silaha yote amewa na watu wetu na kukusa watu wetu na hata wanyuo pia na wana. Sasa kwa hivyo nafikiri hoja tukae kama hakuna.
The meeting, which was held in Kobebe, Uganda, was attended by government representatives from both countries who have pledged to support the operation to mop up illegal weapons. The operation will be spearheaded by Uganda People Defense Force.
RDC and the security team from Uganda, please, we want you to continue according at the same support that you have always supported us. We will also continue supporting ideas that will bring peace into this very important corridor.
Similarly, the lack of security has also extended in Samburu County. Led by Samburu Governor Lati Lelit, leaders from the county have been advised to work in togetherness putting aside their political differences, saying that the county is lagging behind in development as a result of insecurity.
Weka tofauti zetu kando. Tofauti ya kisiasa ambayo iliyopita tumeweka kando na tumeweza kusema tufanye kazi pamoja, tusaidie watu wetu, tuende mbele kama Samburu County kwa sababu ya msasano, mambo ya amani, ya kukosekana kwa amani.
Grace Mureithi, Look Up TV.
A cane tractor in Western Kenya from West Kenya Sugar Company was set ablaze by angry residents in Navaholo, Kakamega County, after it hit a woman carrying a 6-month-old child, killing her on the spot. It is alleged the driver was drunk while driving at a very high speed when the accident happened.
A column of black smoke below the street of Navaholo in Kakamega County after angry residents set ablaze a cane tractor. This is after the tractor hit a woman who was carrying a 6-month child, killing her on the spot. In what the eyewitnesses say, the woman was on her way to pick up her identity card.
Huyu mama alikuwa anatembelea tu kando ya barabara na tractor ya West ikatoka huko ikamgonga akaanguka. Na alikuwa na mtoto kwa mgongo.
It is alleged that the tractor driver was drunk at the time of the incident and was driving at a very high speed when he lost control of the tractor.
Mtu anakimbia na tractor venye anataka na wakisha kanyaga wanatoroka. Ukishapeleka kesi kotini, wako na lawyer wao, wako na pesa, wewe hauna pesa. Tunaenda kuchukua jukumu sisi wenyewe na tunaenda kungangana na wama driver walevi na tunaenda kungangana na wama driver wenye wameandika wageni. Lazima haki yetu itapatikana. Sababu huyu msichana amegongwa na amekufa papo na hapo.
The residents have however shown their concern on the child's situation, stating that the child got severe injuries on its back and on the head.
Hatujui huyo mtoto kama anaweza pona, sababu vile nimeangalia huyo mtoto nikamfikia. Huyo mtoto amekanyagwa site ya mtomo, meno 3 imetoka. Na hatujui anaweza pona na ilimkanyaga nyuma.
Residents are now calling on the devolved units to take stern actions on people who drink and drive so as to prevent unnecessary accident in the area. The body of the deceased has been taken to Kakamega mortuary while our child is fighting for its life in Kakamega Hospital. Marlon Alando, Look Up TV.
As Kenya Airways continue to struggle to get its wheels up, Treasury will be seeking to sell a controlling stake in Kenya Airways to a strategic foreign investor who is expected to inject capital in the restructuring of the troubled national carrier and possibly return it to profitability. Let's have a look at this and other stories in business.
This is according to Chris Kiptoo, the nominee for the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Treasury, when he was being vetted for the position before the parliamentary committee.
I think it's an important airline, but I think one has to ask to what extent you have to continue carrying the airline when it is so expensive to maintain. And I think it's time to look at how to address some of this, including other options. Like partnering with others.
If the sales goes through, it would see the government's shareholding reduced from 48.9% and cut the ownership of lenders who converted their debt to a 38% stake. Elsewhere, the standard gauge railway SGR passenger service from Nairobi to Mombasa is fully booked ahead of the festive season, forcing holidaymakers to seek expensive alternative methods of travel like air that has seen a more double in rise in tickets. Finally, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Mr. Mali Mohammed has said the national government had ramped up its effort to address the needs of the SMEs through establishment of a financial inclusion fund, the Hustlers Fund. Speaking in Nakuru County when he launched public participation for the National Treasury proposed Hustlers Fund, Mr. Malim has underscored the importance of SMEs to the country's economic development and job creation.
The challenges they face, including lack of credit or expensive credit facilities to enable them expand their business. Policy guidance that a Hustlers Fund be established under the Public Finance Management Act 2012, particularly under Section 24 of this Act.
Edwin John Mokora, Look Up TV.
Moi University students have threatened to hold peaceful demonstrations if the Ministry of Education Loans Board fails to fulfill its promise of giving them loan money for this academic year.
Students from Moi University have decried the negligence of the Ministry of Education towards fulfilling their promise of giving them student study loans. The students added that the loan money was beneficial to them as they used the money to pay fees, house rents, and meet other essential needs helpful in their education careers.
Wito wetu ni kwa Wizara ya Elimu kuweza kuharakisha mikakati ya kuachilia pesa za HELB ndio wanafunzi wetu waweze kulipa karo, waweze kulipa ada za nyumba zao na pia kufanya mambo yao vidogo vinavyowawezesha kueneza masomo yao kwa utaratibu unaofaa.
Kulingana na rais amesema ana support youths, na sisi youths kitengo chetu saizi ni wanafunzi, na vile anaweza tu support ni kuprovide HELB loan kwa wakati unafaa. Kwa hivyo sisi hatutangoja kwenda kufanya kazi mtaani, hiyo haitufai. Sisi tuko hapa tusome ndio tukuje tufanye kazi kwa serikali.
Elsewhere, the executive director of MCSK, Dr. Mutua, has said that various sectors, including matatu and hotel sectors, owe millions of money to the organization, therefore calling upon the government to implement the collection in order to make the sector grow.
Tumekuwa na shida kubwa sana kama chairman wa MCSK. Kwa kipindi cha miaka kama miwili ama mitatu iliyopita, mnajua ya kwamba kuna wakati tuliweza kupokonywa leseni kwa njia haikuwa ya maana na haikufuatilia maarifa yale yanatakikana ni kwa ajili ya mtu kuchukua hatua.
If this truly is a hustler government, we got to be serious now with the way we treat musicians. And we got to point out where the problem is. Yes. Let us not have side shows and shenanigans. That time should be over. Yeah. We are here today to make decisions, and we will do whatever it takes to ensure that we fight for the right of musicians. It cannot be business as usual. If you are using music belonging to our members, pay for the copyright. Obtain a license from MCSK Camden Priest. Ensure that you use that music in a legal way.
Mitaruan, Look Up TV.
That's the news on Look Up TV tonight. Thank you for your company. Have a good night.